All right, yo guys. So in this video today, I'm going to be going over the top 3 reasons on why you're not making progress in the gym anymore. But before I get into it, just know that there are definitely more reasons as to why you might not be making progress. But these are the main 3 that I've seen over a long period of time. These are the main 3 that I've seen from like coaching and just from my own personal experience and just talking to other people in the gym. And these are just nuances that I've picked up throughout my fitness journey. And so I'm going to be discussing these reasons in this video today, as well as giving you guys the exact actionable steps that you can take in order to fix these problems. All right, so with that being said, I just wanted to make that small disclaimer about this video, but we'll jump right into it right now. All right, boys and girls, gentlemen. All right, today's video, as I mentioned in the intro, it's going to be the top 3 reasons on why you're not making progress in the gym. And these are things that I've learned throughout my, sort of fitness journey, talking to other people and just being a coach in general. These are things these are just consistent things that I keep seeing come up. So I am going to go over all of those 3 things today in this video, and as well as the actionable steps on how you can actually fix these problems if you resonate with any of these problems that I'm going to go over today. So, and this is despite you, even though like you're going to the gym 5 to 6 times a week, eating healthy and getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. So that's just assuming you have the basics checked off, okay? You have the basic inputs checked off and you're still not seeing progress. Because it'd be so easy for me to say, oh, you're not seeing progress in the gym because you're not going enough. You're not eating healthy enough. You're not sleeping enough. That's just kind of basic stuff that I'm assuming everyone here understands. So that's not what this video is about. There's a little bit more nuances that I'm going to be going over in this video. So with that being said, let's get right into it. All right. So number 1. Big mistake, overcomplicating everything. Some quote unquote optimal practices aren't even likely relevant to you when you are either a beginner or intermediate. Because you see a lot of these, scientific fucking based exercises that, I mean, they sound sexy, but you really, yeah, they sound sexy and everything, but is it really relevant for you to really try to focus on, the most obscure exercises? Like I see people doing you guys know like the standing calf raises where you have the pads on your shoulders. I see people doing like shoulder presses with that. I'm like, dude, just go on the like actual shoulder press machine and it's just gonna be way better for your shoulders. Like it's just little things like that. But anyways, yeah, so for example, like RPE, if you don't know what RPE is, it's essentially just reps in reserve. So an RPE of 5 would mean that you're 5 reps shy from failure. Which, if you're a beginner, it's unlikely that you'll know exactly what 5 reps out from failure feels like. So you might stop too early, which is very common. And another thing, honestly, the biggest issue with going like RPE and not even going close to failure is you're not going to be stimulating enough muscle growth. Like, some people can argue with me on that, but I used to not train at failure. You know how many gains I saw? Hardly any. So always training at proximity to failure. Again, that's kind of just like a basic standard thing that everyone should be doing, no matter on where you're at. Maybe if you're a complete beginner, maybe don't go straight to failure. Dynamic stretching. Stretching's good and all, but to be frank, I don't stretch. Like, I lift 6 days a week and do like 45 minutes of cardio a day, and I don't stretch. But the thing is, I don't really have any like need to, like, I don't really get any like lower back pain or any like strains or anything like that. So, I know people do like weird stretching for like preventative measures, but honestly, it's not as necessary. It's just one of those, just another layer of complexity that you don't really need to add to your fitness routine. Switching exercises every workout. This one is another big mistake. So let's say, for example, you were benching, doing like flat barbell bench or something. Then next workout you do incline dumbbell press as your main compound movement. And then next exercise you do incline Smith. And then next one you do incline hammer strength or hammer press machine. And you just keep mixing up exercises over and over and over again. And it's really hard to track your progress and accurately progressive overload because there's just gonna be so many things going on at once. So just stick to a couple different exercises, I'm going to go over that in a moment. It just adds much more complexity that you don't need as a beginner or even as an intermediate. It's just another level of complexity that you really don't need. Like, if you just stick to the basics, which I'm assuming, the basics, there's not really a whole lot to the basics. So if you understand the basics, just stick to them. Like, there's a reason that I mean, I still stick to the basics to this day. And that's just what I found that works the best for me and anyone who I've ever talked to. So again, it's just another level. It's just another level of complexity that, you know, you see these content that, you know, these content creators will make videos on, and because it gets views, because people find it interesting, because it's new, you know, it's unique, but you don't need it at the beginning. So yeah, you're trying to change too many things at once, which can just make you feel overwhelmed. And then, say for example, you do start seeing progress. Okay, so you start changing a bunch of things, and you do start seeing progress. It's going to be hard for you to boil down which variable was able to give you that progress, right? So if you can just change like one thing at a time and see if that works, then you'll know that that works for you, if you know what I mean. Don't try to change too many things at once, because if you're making progress and you don't know what is giving you that progress, that is almost as bad. That is almost as bad, or just as bad as knowing what to do, but then not executing, if that makes any sense. So the fix, I kind of debunked or went over them, but yeah, stick to the basics and stay consistent. I think I said it here. Yeah, do not underestimate how long it actually takes to see results. It can take months and years. I think I've said it quite a few times, but it took me I'd say like a year and a half, 2 years before people actually started noticing like that, like, okay, this guy definitely lifts. Like, okay, how long you been working out for? Like, it took me a long time to see that. And before that, I wouldn't even tell people I worked out, like, because I didn't have anything to show for it. So I didn't really tell anyone I worked out, because they're like, wow, you work out 6 days a week and you look like that. Like, I mean, it's just that skewed perception that people have, that, you know, they think that once you start something that you should be at like the top of the ladder, which is not the case at all. So give yourself some time, you know, stick to the basics, stay consistent, and give yourself time to actually see results. Yeah, it can take months before you start seeing any significant increases in strength or weight loss or gain or anything. I mean, weight loss is usually pretty quick. Like, if you aren't making any, here's my dog. If you aren't making any progress as far as weight loss goes, that usually means that there's something that you can address right away. You don't have to wait like sometimes months to see if something's working. So, all right. So yeah, find 2 to 3 exercises, ideally compound lifts. I should have said has to be compound lifts, honestly, that you're doing per muscle group, and stick with them. So for me, for my chest, like if I'm doing like a chest workout or something, my main exercise is incline Smith machine press, incline Smith machine bench. And sometimes I'll mix it up and I'll do dumbbells, but I'd say like 80% of the time it's incline Smith. Because I feel that one's much more in my upper chest than like any other compound movement for chest, and I'm trying to work on my upper chest more than anything. The only time I really do dumbbells is if I can't get a Smith machine and I don't want to wait. That's really it. So for you gotta test out different exercises at the beginning to find which ones you like the most, and then stick with those. All right, next one. Not progressively overloading. Another big mistake. So if you're going to the gym and just doing the same thing over and over, you're not going to see progress. You might see progress initially, but it's going to halt very fast if you're not progressively overloading. Because if you're not increasing the weight, volume, or reps, muscle growth is not going to be stimulated forever. I wish it was that easy. I wish I could still put like 185 on incline Smith and still make gains, but it's just not the case. I have to do like 240, 250 for like 12 reps in order to get like marginal gains, really, at this point. But yeah, I mean, it can be like this is something that I see no one at the gym using 2.5 pound plates, like those, you know, those really small plates. I see no one using those other than me. Usually I'll even use them on squats. Like the other day I did, like when I was increasing weight, I'm doing like upwards of like 340 to like 350 pounds roughly, like somewhere in the squats right now, and I still use 2.5 pound plates. It looks kind of weird when you have all this weight, like oh, is 5 pounds really that, are you really gonna feel that extra 5 pounds? I mean, I won't necessarily feel it, but it's increased mechanical tension on my muscles, on my legs, so my legs feel it. I maybe in my head I don't feel it, but it is an increase in weight. So it's just marginal increases that you can do over a long period of time, and those add up as well. So make sure you're using the 2.5 pound plates. I promise you they are clutch. So yeah, just because a specific weight is difficult, that does not mean you can't get the same amount of reps with a slightly higher weight. Again, going back to the 2.5 pound plates. If you hit, I don't know, 315 for 12 on squats, and you just add the 2.5 pounds on each side, so 320, hit that for 12 as well, man, you just progressive overloaded. It can be that simple, guys. It can be that simple. So the fix, I pretty much already debunk or go over the fixes and when I explain the problems, but yeah, aim for 8 to 15 reps and stick with the weight until you hit that 15 reps. So what I mean by that is once you hit 15 reps with a weight, then increase it until you hit 15 reps with that new weight, and then go on and so on. So with that squat example, say you hit 320 for 12 reps. Say if you hit 320 for 15 reps, that'd be pretty impressive. If you hit 320 for 15 reps, then you would increase it to 325. And say, for example, next time you squat, you hit 325 for, let's say 14, okay? So you don't increase the weight if you only got 14 reps. You stick with that 325. You stick with that weight. Then say the next week you hit squats, you get 15 reps. Then that's the green light to increase the weight slightly. And the thing is, you have to be given every set your maximum effort, okay? Like, you have to be going like pretty much to failure. I mean, going to failure on squats, kind of risk an injury sometimes if you're not careful, if you don't have a belt or something, but you can utilize this strategy, this like practice on all the other exercises. So yeah, additional 1 to 2% effort per set over months and months will stimulate muscle growth. So yeah, if you just keep increasing your squat by 5 pounds a week, that adds up. That is really going to add up. 10 weeks, 50 pounds. That's probably unrealistic. 10 weeks or 50 pounds in 10 weeks on squat, unless you're like a beginner or something. But you get the idea. You'll slowly get stronger. It's just a slow and steady progress. Don't try to just add 50 pounds on your squat the next day or the next week. Yeah, it's slow and steady progress and patience really at the end of the day. All right. Number 3, not eating enough protein or staying consistent enough with your calories. So again, I went over this in yesterday's video as well. Eating healthy does not mean that you can build muscle or lose fat. So at the end of the day, it's calories in, calories out. Not being consistent enough will cause you to spin your wheels and question whether or not you're doing things correctly. Maybe you could have the perfect meal plan, but if you're not following it on a consistent basis, you're not going to see results. You're just not. Maybe marginal results, but you're going to plateau very quick. Yeah, progress takes a long time, so if you aren't consistent, progress will not come. Will barely come, or if it does, it's very minimal. So that's why you got to stay consistent. And that's, being consistent is kind of a no-brainer when it comes to fitness at this point. At least I hope you guys understand that it is really a no-brainer. You have to stay consistent with the gym in order to see like actual good results. So the fix, so if you want to build muscle, you got to eat in a slight calorie surplus. If you want to lose fat, then you have to eat in a slight deficit, and do not miss days. I'd say if you are hitting it like 90% of the time, you should be good. But the more consistent you are, the more results you're going to see. The quicker results you're going to see, actually. Because most people aren't willing to be consistent with the gym because they aren't willing to delay gratification. But you're watching this video, you're smart, so you understand to delay gratification. Be consistent. Focus on getting 1% better every single day. Yeah, protein builds muscle, and it'll keep you full if you want to lose fat. So that's why I say focus on protein. It is the fundamental macronutrient because, like I said, it builds muscle, and it keeps you full if you want to lose fat. And also helps you maintain your current muscle mass foundation if you're losing fat as well. So again, I've talked about it before, but try to get at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, maybe slightly more if you're trying to lose fat, just for the benefits I previously listed. But yeah, focus on protein, be consistent, and yeah, you can absolutely have flexibility in your diet, but you just got to make sure you're tracking everything so you're always on point. I'm kind of like a broken record at this point. Track your macros so you don't have to second guess yourself. If you guys have seen, a couple of my YouTube videos or some of my IG reels or TikToks or whatever, you've probably heard me say that a million times, but I'm trying to hammer it home, okay? I'm trying to hammer this point home. So with that being said, that is everything for today's video. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you resonated with any points here, apply the fixes that I discussed in this video. Stay consistent, and you will definitely break past your plateau and be able to make consistent gains over a long period of time. So, yeah, with that being said, guys, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.